in a Christian way. So the reason we are here is because we would like to discourage young people. You see a girl and you pick her, you start staying together. Young people are calling it "come we stay." Have you heard of it? We want that thing to die. Because marriage is so important. You cannot just see a street girl and then you start staying together. We want to, am I right? We want to discourage that, isn't it? So here, I'm here very, very proud of Wairimu and her boyfriend, that they have not followed that route. They have taken the trouble to call the Wakamba family and the Maramanet family, so that basically it is the two families coming together. So that's why it's very, very important. So the most important part of this function is getting to know one another. So that from then onwards, just like happened when my aunt went to Ukambani, you now know those are your people. And so we really want to ask if there are any younger people, younger than Wairimu, we want to encourage them. Don't follow "come we stay." Because "come we stay" also makes it "come we go" later. Is a get, is a go. Are we together? And that's a message I would like young people who are listening to me, including this one, to hear. Don't be in a hurry to enter into marriage, because marriage is a tough relationship, but a sweet relationship. If you'd enter it without clear thinking, you could very easily see yourself off. The other day I was called by a young lady and said, "I'd like you to talk to me and my husband." And when we finally met, I told my wife, since we don't even know them, let me first of all meet the two of them, then we will find out. So I asked them, "Do you have a problem?" He said, "No, we have no problem. But we got married 5 years ago, about 10 couples, all of them Christian. And then in 5 years, 5 of them were not living together." And they started saying, "Might we follow the same way?" All I'm saying is that marriage should not be entered in a hurry. And I'm quoting the Anglican prayer book. If you married in an Anglican church, they say that these things should not be entered in a hurry. And so that's one of the things I wanted to say. This meeting is part of that idea, because as our our son-in-law to be was thinking, calling the father and these other people to go to a place, he has to think twice, isn't it? Because if he goes and then changes his mind, he has to answer all these people that went to Laikipia and now come here. Am I right? So it helps the child to think hard when they realize that marriage requires a process. You still marry, but let the process happen. It slows you down, makes you think, makes you wonder. And in the process, by the time you marry, you are likely to marry to stay. I want to pick the story because we just want to see a biblical example, because we are Christians. I just want to pick the story in Genesis chapter 24 of a Mosaic called Abraham wanting his son to get a wife. And it was not "come we stay." There was a process, a very clear process. And I want to just pick a few lessons out of it that I hope our children, the ones for today and the ones that are going to be there tomorrow, to pick it. Number one, he said that I would like Isaac to get married, he told his servant, but I don't want him to get married to people who don't worship like us. So the most important thing in marriage is that two people getting married must commit themselves to the same faith, according to Abraham. In fact, he said, if you go all the way there and find they don't want to give us a daughter, it's okay for my son to remain a bachelor for the rest of his life. That's how important Abraham thought. Getting somebody who has faith. Go back to the people to where I came from, the people who have our faith. That's where you get a girl. If she can't come, let Isaac remain a bachelor. That must have been a very serious issue. A young man here is wondering whether that can happen. But that's how serious the matter is. Am I clear? Very serious. So we are here to say, yes, that must be very, very important and must be taken very seriously. Number two, that comes out of this story, when Eliezer went all the way to where the people of the faith of Abraham were, and he went to the house, and he explained why he had come, like you people in our will explain. The thing that was a critical thing was for the girl to be asked, are you being forced or are you willing? Rebecca was asked, will you go? So it needs to be understood that before Rebecca could say yes to the boy, he first of all had to tell the parents, yes, it's okay. From the story I've heard, this of God, let me go. And even today, we would like this to be the reality, that we want these children in the presence of both families to say they are not being pushed. Because I told you earlier, marriage is not very easy. And I should know, I've been married for 46 years, so I should know something about staying in marriage. It's not easy for several reasons. I've written a book on it, Overcoming Marriage Challenges. And I start arguing in my book that if your marriage has no challenge, it's a fake marriage. A good marriage, people always disagree. When you see your wife never disagrees with you, she is faking it. She might kill you one night. It's very important that when she doesn't agree with you, she tells you, I don't agree with you. And that's why you are taking the trouble to find out both parties, have they actually agreed? And even when she went the other side, the boy had to say yes to get to the girl. So I thought that's the second point as we come here. Item number 3, which is we see out of this one. Let's see what happened. And I would like you to read, because I don't have enough time, I would like you to read Genesis 24 for yourself. After the girl said yes, they were not asked for any dowry of any nature. Whenever you hear about dowry, it is crooks who are involved in dowries. People who are biblical don't ask for dowry. You know, a lot of people want to say, hey, the Bible is just like Kikuyus. No. The Bible, when you hear dowry, there's a problem. Like there was a man who raped one of the daughters of Jacob. Then he says, I can pay a lot of dowry, but he was a rapist. Would you like to be associated with one? The other guy who asked for dowry was called Laban, and he was a crook. Do you remember how many times he cheated his son-in-law? No. You don't know how many? He cheated twice. He worked for 7 years for a girl called Rachel. They're only to be told you have done nothing. If you really want Rachel, another how many years? 7 years. Isn't that a crook? That's people who go for dowry. And in each of the cases, when you hear about dowry, there's likelihood to be trouble. So, Bethuel, the father of Rebecca, did not ask for any dowry. However, even without being asked for dowry, he still gave gifts. Go and read the story. You need to understand, dowry is demanded. Gifts are freely given. Can you see the difference? Yeah, so that you are not giving because you have been asked. It's just a biblical thing to be generous. Are we together? Yeah. And it's important to understand. So we learn from this story that they formed a marriage that finally got a guy called Isaac. Isaac gave to Jacob, and that's how Israel started, and that's how Jesus Christ was born. But it all came from two people agreeing with one another, and two families agreeing with one another, nobody selling the other, just accepting one another. My final point, because I don't have a lot of that. So we have seen, don't make marriage, the marriage process a hurry. Let it be slowed down. Number 2, that the two owners must themselves be convinced. They should not say they were pushed. Number 3, that the two families will be witnesses, that the two people have agreed, and it will not be on the basis of money. My final point on this issue is that after the two got married and was together, they now associated with old families. And I'm hoping that even in our case, that our son-in-law will regard this home as his home. That Wairimu can go to Ukambani and feel at home. Are we together? Because that's the reason why we are here. So the reason we are here is you now know who the person is. Even before the wedding, you now accept that person. And if you are rejecting, reject it now. You don't reject somebody after they are already married. Because that is important. Because a lot of people, Daystar University, where my wife works, did a research the other day, and they discovered that 1/3 of all marriages that are breaking because of in-laws. That something percent. Isn't that a high percentage? Yeah, of course, when I say in-laws, I don't mean the father-in-law or the daughter-in-law. It may be a sister who says, why are you taking my sister? Now, it may be a cousin, it may be somebody else. But the research showed that 3% of all marriages breaking are being caused by in-laws. That's why this meeting is important. That you agree as families that we are willing to give this girl and we are willing to give this boy, let them start their marriage without any interference from either side. Are we together? Because you have accepted now, and that's why it's a slow process so people have a chance to ask questions. Once we attend the wedding, whenever it will be, after that, the two families stay together and go on together. Kwa maneno machache, tunasema harusi ni kitu muhimu sana. Kwa hivyo tunafurahi sana ati kijana na msichana wanatuita hapa kutuonyesha hawataki kufuata hiyo mambo ya watu wa siku hizi wanaruka, unasikia baadaye ana mtoto na hujasikia harusi. Hawa wametupatia nafasi kuwaona kabla ya harusi, na tukasema ni kitu muhimu sana, na wale watoto wako hapa wachanga wajue hiyo ndio ile kufuata. Ikiwa kijana nakupenda, lazima agoje mpaka muende kwa wazazi wake. Ikiwa msichana nakupenda, lazima aruhusu uende kwa wazazi wake. Ya pili, tumesema na ni muhimu, tukitumia hii hadithi ya Ayubu, tunasema ati wakati unataka msichana na mvulana waoane, lazima wapatiwe ruhusa wachague. Watapewe ruhusa, wasiseme tuliambiwa na nguvu na lazima waoe. Kwa sababu hata hawa waliuliza, Rebeka uliulizwa, wewe utaenda? Akasema ndio. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu sana huyu kijana na huyu msichana wawe wamesikia Mungu akiwaonyesha wakae pamoja. Kama wakae pamoja kwa sababu tumewaambia, ni kwa sababu mmechagua. Ya tatu tukasema ndoa ni family mbili, inakuja sasa kuwa na urafiki. Kwa Kikuyu tunasema odhoni kwero ratio na ke no odhoni na ha tutiukire ratio tukire ke odhoni. Ratio is a trade, odhoni is a friendship, and what this family wants is not ratio. What do they want? Odhoni, respect, caring, friendship. Na sasa tukasema hiyo itakuwa vizuri sana tukianza namna hiyo. Nimechukua muda sana, kwa hivyo sitaendelea, lakini siongei kwa sababu ya hii. Hata wewe wakati utaenda kwako, hii mambo ya kuuza ufanye nini? Uache, ufanye urafiki badala ya kufanya nini? Ya kununua na kuuza. Ukitaka kununua na kuuza, nunua kuku. Binadamu hawawizwi na wanunuliwe. Hiyo ni kweli. Na sisemi watu wote. Ukiwa wewe ni mtu wa dunia, uza. Lakini ukisema wewe ni mtu wa Biblia, umeona example hapa kwa kitabu. Kwa hivyo usifanye ati kwa sababu akaba wanafanya. Wewe umesema Mkristo. Mkristo hafuati Ukamba, anafuata nini? Biblia. Usiseme kwa sababu Wakikuyu anafanya, nitafanya. Ukiwa ni wewe ni Mkristo, hutafuata Wakikuyu anafanya, utafuata vile Biblia inafanya au inasema. Ni mwanafunzi mzuri sana hapa. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri hata tukiendelea mambo haya, hiyo points uwe ukifikiria vile tunaenda. Na nirudie, tuna furaha sana hati watoto wetu wamefuata njia ya Abraham na njia ile Isaac alipata bibi, na Bwana wabariki waendelee na vizuri. Hebu tuombe. Mungu, tunakusifu kwa sababu ya hawa wawili, msichana na mvulana, ambao wameomba na wameona ati wewe unataka kuwaleta tu pamoja, na baada ya kuona hivyo hawakuruka waanze kukaa pamoja. Wamepatia baba yao na mama yao heshima na kutuita pamoja, na ndipo tuko hapa. Na Mungu wabariki kwa vile wameheshimu wazazi wao, lakini